What else might she do? She doesn't buy it. She doesn't ask a question. She doesn't walk away from it. And she doesn't just silently continue to look at it. What's the only other thing she might do? I got to hear hand up. I'll think about it. Very good. You said that too? No, ask a question was one of the other moves. Right? That was move number 3. In other words, when you gave a statement of fact and shut up, she either buys it, walks away from it, asks a question about it, keeps staring at it, or gives you an excuse why she's not going to buy it. Now, can we categorize some of these excuses? She just said one. Well, I need to think about it. How many ever hear that one? I need to think about it. Come on now, the rest of you, fess up. Don't we all hear that? I need to think about it. How about this one? How many of you hear this one? Well, we'll be back later. You ever hear that one? How about, how late you going to be open? Are you going to be here tomorrow? When customers make, well, I got to check with my husband. Let me tell you, women do not have to check with their husbands. They tell you they have to check with their husbands to get out of there. They don't have to check with their husbands. I learned that many, many, many years ago, not only from wives, but from customers. My first retail, or it wasn't even retail, my first sales job was a company that I created in the early 60s called Empress Pearls. Has anybody ever heard of Empress Pearls? Huh? Sounds familiar? Empress Pearls was a home party jewelry company where we were doing $1 million a month in business at the time that I sold it. But we met a lot. This was way back in the days where they had this thing that's now extinct called housewives. Anybody remember that term? They used to have housewives where, huh? Yeah, the ones that they cooked. They did a number of things, but another thing they did was they had these little coffee clutches. You know, where during the daytime when their husband's at work, they'd get together and somebody would come over and sell them stuff. And we used to sell them jewelry. We were the first company to bring 14-karat gold jewelry into the home. And they were used to buying Sarah Coventry and, you know, an inexpensive jewelry. So we got a lot of excuses when gold went to $800 an ounce. When we started the company, it was $32 an ounce. And we had to raise prices as it went to $800 an ounce. You know, they go, how much is that ring? That's $650. Now, in the 60s, that was a lot of money. And we used to hear that excuse. Oh, I got to check with my husband. I got to check with my husband. But you know what we also found was once they began to buy it, once they decided they wanted to buy it, they had some of the tiniest little hiding places in their wallets where big bills would come out. Now, you know, your giggles tell me you can relate, right? And another thing we used to hear is that forgiveness is a lot easier to get than permission. A lot easier to get than permission. We used to see credit cards come out of the smallest of outfits. The smallest of outfits. When people want something, they figure it out. I tell you, when I really, really learned this is I was delivering a ring to a woman one time, and I came over there in the afternoon, and she said, "Oh, hi, Ron, come on in. Would you like a cup of coffee?" And I said, "Okay." And I had to collect several $100s, and I sit at her little kitchen table, and she was making the coffee, and I got the ring in a box, and I'm waiting for the money, and pretty soon this gorilla came out of the bedroom. And this guy came out, and I said hi to him, and he didn't say hi back to me. He looked at her and says, "Who's that?" And she goes, "Oh, that's Ron. He ran the party that we had, the Pearl party that we had the other night." He says, "Did you buy anything?" And she says, "No." And then a sweat started coming down my hands because I'm there to collect money. He says, "Well, what's he here for?" And she says, "Why don't you just go back in the bedroom and mind your own business?" And he went, "Yeah, okay." And he walked off. And I said, they don't have to check with the husbands. Do they? Of course not. When you hear an excuse, what does it mean?
Something about that product is not perfect.
Maybe. Maybe. Or they just need a little encouragement. Maybe. I'll tell you what it means. It means you got work to do. It's not over when the customer says, I want to think about it. Your job has just begun when the customer says, I'll be back. You got work to do. And most salespeople at this point do one of two things wrong. This is the area of selling where the salespeople are separated from the order takers. Right now. You just got rejected, and everybody hates rejection.